Hi, this is Jack Stanley, and I just wanted to talk for a few moments about an old friend. An old friend who will turn 100 years of age tomorrow. This old friend I'm speaking about was a fellow by the name of Franco Corelli. And it was my honor to be a friend of his for a few years and get to know him and spend some time with him and listen to records with together, and we would go see small opera companies, and he'd sit there as I sit next to me and tell me what he thought of this, that, and everything else. And he'd tell little jokes and try to laugh. He didn't speak English so well. He spoke in broken English at times. But we always understood each other, which was fine. And we talked about all kinds of fascinating things. He was fascinated with the whole idea of the earth shifting. And we'd talk about that, whatever. And he was an interesting fella, and it was an honor to get to know him. One of the greatest operatic tenors of the 20th century. Lots of argument there. I don't want to get into that. But it was fascinating for me at times when we'd get together at Jerry Hines' house, and we'd bring the old phonograph in the back. And I'd put on a recording, a tenor piece, let's say. And Franco would sing along, and so, Caruso would sing, and with a little obbligato by Franco Corelli. It was fascinating to hear, him sing along, and he was having fun with that stuff. Just, there was no pressure. He didn't like pressure. He could be very, very nervous at times, and he loved to just be relaxed and have fun, and that's how it worked for us as friends. We got along, and I would always ask him questions about stuff, and he would talk about it freely. And whenever I had, I'd have my business card. At that time, I worked for Barnes and Noble. I set up all of their events and got authors and things like that for them. And whenever I had a card sitting there, he would always jump up just for fun and sign it, Just interesting. He had fun doing that kind of stuff. He used to call me the King of New Jersey. Here we are having dinner one time. We didn't take pictures very often because you don't do that. But this is us sitting at the table at Jerry's house. That's Jerry there on the left in the picture. And of course me and Loretta Corelli and Franco. We just had dinner, and we were sitting there chit-chatting, and just by chance there was a camera, and so we just took a picture. Didn't take many photographs. I mean, how often do you get together with your friends and you take pictures? Don't. It's not the thing that you would do. But tomorrow Franco will be 100 years old. So I wanted to give a tribute to a friend, and the only operatic tenor who ever gave me bravos. It was interesting. It's a fun little story just to mention to you. There's so many stories, actually. But I got a call from Franco. He called me up as, I forget, I don't remember the dates anymore. And he said, "Jack, we want to take you to the Met and go see the opera." And I said, "I'd love to. That would be wonderful." And he gave me the date. Turned out, in the entire year, I might have signed a contract for singing one thing of songs or twice. That would be it. Never had much of a career that way. But I agreed to sing on a certain date, and it happened to be that And I tried like hell to get out of it, and I couldn't. So I had to tell Franco, I'm sorry, I couldn't go. I felt so bad about that. But we got to do other things. We went to, to little opera companies, and he would say, sit next to me, and he'd tell me stories and stuff like that. And he was always a very warm individual. From the first time I met him, because Jerry Hines introduced me to him. And he came up and he put his arm on my shoulder, and he said, you have a great gift and a great love for music and history, and whoever wants to do great things with whatever you love, you'll be successful. And we became really good friends after that. And I'd ask him questions a lot of times. I'd call him up and ask him if he knew about this singer or that singer. And sometimes he'd sit there and ask me questions like, do I have records of certain recordings of Louisa Tetrazzini? He was madly in love with the voice of Louisa Tetrazzini. He couldn't get enough of her. He'd ask me to bring records all the time, and he would just marvel at her voice. He said there was nothing in recorded sound like her. He called her his favorite soprano. That's just our conversation. I'm sure there's stories where he talks about this soprano or that soprano who was contemporary. But he absolutely went gaga over Tetrazzini. So, Franco, thank you for some wonderful times and great memories and a lot of fun. And thank you for making me the king of New Jersey. And I miss you. I miss you and Jerry. You both left this earth the same year, 2003. Two close friends both left, and that hurt. It was sad. But I have such wonderful memories, in my desk here. Excuse me if I lean down here. It's in one of my drawers at my desk. Of course, I probably can't find it now. You can always find things when you're not looking for it, and I can't find it. But nonetheless, I created a whole journal of the visits with Jerry and with Franco and stuff like that, because I wanted to write a lot of the stuff down in the future. And of course, I can't share it with you right now, but I'll find it. I have lots of stories to share. And so, lastly, I think I've said enough here. Franco, happy birthday. Happy 100th birthday, your first century. And you know something that'll be fascinating for those yet unborn, 100 years from now, when you celebrate your 200th birthday, people will be listening to you and marveling at your voice, just as you marveled at Tetrazzini's.